Welcome to Barnstable Today. I'm Nick Cortez. During this past season of American Idol, it didn't matter where you went in the town of Barnstable. The name Siobhan Magnus was everywhere. On banners, signs, and bumper stickers, she was cheered by residents and business owners who themselves couldn't stop talking about the girl from Marston's Mills with the jaw-dropping voice and the unique sense of style. Every week, with every song, Siobhan wowed us with her talent and made us proud to call her one of our own. Months later, after a long national tour with her fellow American Idol contestants, Siobhan is back at home, at least for now. And on Sunday, October 17th, we'll all get the chance to welcome her back as she serves as Grand Marshal in a Halloween parade that's been dubbed the March of the Horribles. Recently, we sat down with Siobhan for a chat, and what evolved from that was a wide-ranging look into her life growing up in a big family, her time at Barnstable High School, her experiences on American Idol, and her thoughts on what the future may hold. Today, we bring you part one of our four-part interview with Barnstable's own American Idol, Siobhan Magnus. Enjoy. Siobhan, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
So many questions to ask, and I guess probably the best place to begin is the way that most people know you best. Well, then again, maybe not, considering that most people probably know you that are watching this program from when you were a little girl or know some member of your family or something like that. But let's talk a little bit about American Idol to begin with. Now, from the very little that I know about you through the stories that I've heard around town and from your public persona, you don't necessarily cross me as someone who would be the American Idol archetypal person. So what got it in your head that this was something that you actually wanted to go and do?
I think it was a long decision in the making. This started when I was about 10 years old, from season 1 of American Idol. And I remember watching every episode religiously. I wouldn't miss a second of it. And there was something so magical watching the finale that year and choosing the first winner, and something so special about when Kelly Clarkson won. And I was so young and impressionable, and I remember watching it, and both Kelly and Justin had to sing the song that they'd written for them, A Moment Like This, and they both sang it, and so I was familiar enough with it that in the commercial breaks I was singing it and pretending like I was there and I was singing it. And I remember at that age, if I was 10, my older sister was 13, so she's very pubescent, so she hated me, and she was like, oh, you'd ever be as good as Kelly Clarkson, like you could ever, and I was just like, fine, whatever, and kind of upset with her, and that always kind of stuck in my head. And I loved the show for many years. Probably, I'd say the first 3 or 4 years I watched every single episode. I had my favorites, but then I went through my own teen angst, and then I was, no way would I ever do it, and I just thought that I wouldn't fit, and I almost had this fear of, that kind of venue or that path isn't for somebody like me, and it wouldn't be received well. But I guess what changed my mind was after I graduated high school and I went off to school like you're supposed to, but I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue. And I dropped out of school because I wasn't there because I wanted to be there. I was there because I thought I was supposed to. And so I came home. I auditioned for Berklee College of Music, but I made the waiting list, and I couldn't afford to keep my place on the list. You have to pay an extra fee. Yeah. And I didn't have the money. It was, just a broke kid. And I came home, and I'd just been working for a while, just working every day, and it got to a point where something needed to change. I was so stuck, and everything was so stagnant, and I wasn't singing, and I knew that was my favorite thing to do.
So American Idol was your radical decision?
Yeah, well, I got a phone call. I was in Nashville. I went on this impromptu trip to Nashville with my friend because I thought, well, maybe I'll go there. Maybe I'll see what it's like there. That's a big music city. And while I was there, I got a phone call from my friend Brendan, who said, remember how I told you that time if Idol auditions ever came to Boston, if you wanted to come, I'd go with you? well, they're coming. Do you want to go? It's like next week or something. Like, all right, sure. And so I got home from Nashville, and I think it was 2 or 3 days later was the audition. And the night before, I nearly didn't do it because those old feelings started to come back. It's like, I don't know if it's for me. They're just going to embarrass me. I don't know. But my mom made a good point, and we decided that I had nothing to lose. And,
I was going to say, it's funny that you would have no trepidation about going to Nashville to see what it was like. And then you're sitting there on the eve of trying out for American Idol and saying to yourself, I don't really know if I want to do this.
I was just grumpy, and I'm so stubborn. And sometimes I get really just like, oh, filthy corporate America. And my older sister's very much an activist, and she's always telling me these horrific things that go on with the big business names and stuff. So I'm always like, sometimes I get all, stick it to the man, and that. Those are the things that make me feel like I wouldn't want to try out. But I went for it, and that day, that first audition at the stadium was not fun. It was not a happy memory. It rained all day, but I'm also a very persistent person, and I don't like to give up at anything, and I don't like to feel like something could have happened, but I quit on it, so it never did.
So then, obviously, you have all these conflicting thoughts about how far you would go, or whether you would even get past sitting there in Gillette Stadium with 10,000 or 20,000 of your closest friends, or however much it was. And then you make it. You make it to the Hollywood part of the show. You make it to the next round. You make it to the next round, and finally you're on the big stage with 11 other people. When did you start thinking to yourself, "Gosh, maybe this was the right choice. Maybe I can win this"?
I think it was around that time, probably at like top 12, when you've gotten through so many eliminations, and every week, weekly eliminations that are so scary. And having watched the show before, you know very well that anything could happen. Anybody could go. If it's, there have been years that were shocking, like Jennifer Hudson getting voted off, and so it gets to a point where you start to think to yourself, I'm pretty close.
Yeah, right.
I'm much closer than I ever imagined, and holy cow.
Yeah, and I'm sure that all of your various friends / competitors were thinking the same thing, and I wonder about that, because in all those cute little produced for television video packages that you see about the idols' lives outside of the show, everybody's kind of cast as being really good pals, and so I wonder how true that actually was, or if there was substantial drama that went on, because at the end of the day, only one person would be left.
Well, I think with any group of people, especially young people, drama is inevitable. But even in our own lives with our families and friends, there's drama. You can't even hide from it if you want to. So I'll say that not all of us got along 100% of the time, but if you think about how we were like 12 of the most different people I could find, and stuck together and have to be together every day, all the time, like almost all waking hours, because as soon as we were done, we'd sleep any chance we got.
Yeah.
Join us tomorrow when we'll have much more with Siobhan. Until then, I'm Nick Cortez. We'll see you next time.